I'm taking a game that is meant for a group and I'm adapting it for a solo campaign. I kind of started doing this a while ago and then kind of didn't get it off the ground. And so today, I didn't really know what I wanted to do today, but this has been on the back burner for a while, so I really wanted to try it out. So this game is called Fabula Ultima, which, hang on, let me... Cool. And I do have a filter on just to make it so it's not so stark. I guess for this part, we don't need it, but there's, I think some of it is okay for me to read, but then it's, you know, it is copyrighted material. I know people will stream these kind of games sometimes or, you know, flip through the rule book on stream. I don't want to give a game away for free, you know what I mean? But I will read some of the intro stuff, just so you know what we're getting into. And then after that, I'll have my Obsidian thing open just so you could see my planning. So today, let me make sure this looks okay. So this game is called Fabula Ultima. I had started some world building stuff the last time, but then they came out with this natural fantasy book, and that's the kind of campaign I want to do, is natural fantasy. So I'm just starting over from ground zero. So we'll make the world, we'll make the characters, and we'll see how far we get in the next couple of hours. Okay, so here's Fabula Ultima. Look at them. They look so cool. Look at this edgy ninja-looking guy. That's always my favorite character, and he inevitably betrays the whole party, and everyone's like, what? How did we not see this coming? That's always my favorite character every time. And then whoever this is in the mask, like, I can appreciate that. This is your world. This is your story. Make your choice and fight for what you believe in. Fabula Ultima is a tabletop role-playing game inspired by Japanese-style console RPGs or JRPGs. In Fabula Ultima, you and your friends will tell you and me, myself, and I will tell epic stories of would-be heroes and fearsome villains set in fantasy worlds brimming with magic, wondrous locations, and uniquely bizarre monsters. I do like that. JRPGs and my TTRPGs, right? Create your own setting together. Yeah, about to do that. Simple and intuitive rule set. That's what I heard. Bestiary already filled. 15 classes to mix and match. And there's new ones in the natural fantasy. So, there's a high fantasy expansion too, but I think I might flip through it, but I think it'd be fun to have a mix of characters. But if I'm going to be playing a low fantasy, cozy kind of setting, I don't necessarily want to have like a techno lancer in my party, because that might not. Or maybe it would be hilarious to have a techno lancer or whatever that's stuck in this small town, you know. We'll see. We're vibing. Everything the game master needs, set the scene, etc., etc. A bunch of pages, free PDF version included. Yes, that is what I have. They won an Emmy in 2023, so that's exciting. Pretty much everybody I've talked to that has played this game said they liked it, so I only got natural fantasy and techno fantasy. Yeah. I did not get techno fantasy. I think I will eventually. I just knew I wanted to play like a more fantasy kind of game. So, okay. Oop, I kicked the thing. Okay. Some credits. I don't want to call it silly stuff like I accidentally did last time, because it's not silly stuff. It's very important. Here's the credits. High and techno. I see. Yeah, natural fantasy just came out recently. I just bought it. Here we go. Woohoo! Good for them. This is the third printing. I have the core book 1.02. Okay, it's based off of Utama, blah, blah. Complete final approval of... Oh, under advisement of. That's pretty cool. Then some other games that they were, like, inspired by. I'm guessing some of their patrons are listed here. Lots of playtesters. That is such a cool name. Medesimo d'Alessandro. That's a cool name. Publishers forward. Yep, about Final Fantasy. Yep. Table of contents. Okay. All right, so at this point, ooh, look at this fun art, though. It's so pretty. At this point, I think I am going to switch off the book because I don't want to get in trouble. There's a lot of like basic how to play TTRPGs thing that not super important. So I will skip over that part. There's no win condition. Create a memorable story and enjoy each other's company. Well, I mean, I guess I can enjoy y'all's company. You can enjoy my company, right? So I'm playing solo, but I'm not alone, right? Okay. So now I'm building my solo world, and I'll be typing in some stuff here. So that way you don't have to see the rule book, but you do see what I am working on, which is very important. Okay, hang on. I have where's the Natural Fantasy Atlas? There it is. So I'm just going to flip between the two because I think the Natural Fantasy Atlas has some other world building things, so it might be important to look at both of them. It has 4 new classes, which are going to be really fun. 10 new stuff and stuff. Okay. Here we go. I'll go ahead and open the high fantasy one too, because now that I think about it, the idea of this like artificer or whatever being stuck in a small town would be very funny. Like good storytelling, you know. So okay. All right. So the world in which your adventures will take place is not predetermined. It's cities, kingdoms, deities, and cultures or something your group, aka me, myself, and I, will create. What ties Fabula Ultima together are the 8 pillars. There's ancient ruins and harsh lands, a world in peril, clashing communities. Everything has a soul. That's important. Magic and technology that go together. Heroes of many sizes and shapes. Oh. It's all about the heroes, mystery, discovery, and growth. Okay, your world could be high fantasy. We're not doing high fantasy. Natural fantasy. That's what we're doing. Natural fantasy. Floating amidst a lush expanse of verdant forests, snow-capped mountains, and crystal-clear lakes, small villages slumber peacefully, coexisting with the beasts and elemental forces of the wilderness. Underneath it all lie the ruins of mysterious past civilizations that once ruled this world of natural fantasy. That sounds perfect. Tales of natural fantasy often revolved around warmth and community, harmony with nature and beasts, and the tragedy that befalls when the hearts of the people grow so dark that they twist and corrupt the very places they live in. Their protagonists are often very young and come from the same village. I don't want them to be young because I am old and I do not like the idea of playing a bunch of little kids. On the other hand, yeah, Legend of Zelda, I could see that, the type of setting for sure. On the other hand, it might be good to start them off young and then time skip. So that might be fun. That way, yeah, you know what? I think that might be cool. Together, they must mend the hearts of their community, confront those who stir sentiments of hatred and mistrust to prevent this darkness from corrupting the very balance of the world around them. Okay, so I changed my mind. I think I might start it off as a natural fantasy and start them off kind of young, and then we might time skip and see. I don't know. We'll go from there. Start young, time skip into an unrecognizable world of empire repression, and then there was the resistance. Ooh. So we could start in natural fantasy, and then we'll skip ahead, and it will be like techno fantasy. Oh my goodness. Okay, in a natural fantasy world, every location in Vista is deeply immersed in vibrant colors, populated by great beasts and monsters. There are no cities and roads, only small villages and narrow paths. But as our heroes venture into ruins or deep into the darkest forests, things change. These forbidden places are alien and magical, cold and terrifying. Things that were meant to be forgotten dwell there. Yeah, magic is strongly tied to nature, life, and the elements. Its traditions are largely oral. Magic is strongly tied to nature, life, and the elements. Its traditions are largely oral, passed down from elder to apprentice, and a mystery to most people. The magic found in the ruins, however, is cold and artificial, a remnant of an age of golems and machinery that defied and angered the forces of nature. In a natural fantasy world, antagonists tend to be disastrous calamities or ancient and powerful monsters. When the antagonist is a person, they are often misguided or acting for what they believed to be good for their community. Most of the time, they will see reason after the heroes thwart their plans. The true enemy, however, is generally something that cannot be reasoned with, such as the immortal embodiment of a natural disaster that will require great sacrifices to placate. Ooh. But that gives you an idea of what our setting is going to be like. I'm going to read off the Natural Fantasy book now and see if there's anything extra for the beginning. So there's a couple more pillars, I think. Look at her, she's so pretty! Isn't that so cute? I love the outfit. Look at this little sheep bird thing. What is that? It's so cute. Oh my gosh, we could call it a beep. Oh, a beep! Oh my gosh, that's so cute! A beep! Yes. Okay, yes, she needs to be in the party. I need to have this cool, magical, like Ojo-sama type character. I don't know. We'll have a good time. Anyways, okay, the mysteries of ages past await you in the Fabula Ultima Natural Fantasy Atlas. Focuses on a genre mainly defined by truly ancient secrets, vast uncontaminated territories, heroes who are both humble and persistent, antagonists driven by unbridled curiosity, as well as by their fear of death and the unknown, and powerful manifestations of elemental forces. This atlas differs slightly because its stories are far more delicate, less bombastic, but no less heroic. It deliberately explores the fundamental concepts at the roots of conflict in every other genre: community, harmony, and coexistence. Feels very Tales of. I like that. Natural fantasy indicates a series of specific elements, such as player characters in a natural fantasy campaign are usually everyday people, albeit possessing some unusual abilities. Protagonists are often young and unaware of the great mysteries of the world. Focal points of the natural fantasy style are rediscovery, understanding, empathy, respect, and love for the world we live in and are part of, as well as for its past. Looking for answers with curiosity and humility, we will come to harmoniously coexist with ourselves as well as the world at large. Yeah. Vertical development. Natural fantasy campaigns often set in small regions or villages. Current world, but to compensate for this limited perspective with vertical development. Now I feel like I'm in education again. The current world was built upon countless layers of history where terrible powers and wondrous magics are buried. These are truly ancient worlds where the past is millennia away rather than centuries, so that the causes of today's misfortunes are often incomprehensible. Natural fantasy mostly does away with epic and spectacular aesthetics, instead presenting Fabula Ultima's thematic core in a visceral and sincere way, and involving the protagonist on an intimate and personal level. These are stories about the environment, life, and death. Like fairy tales and the philosophies and traditions that inspired it, the natural fantasy style presents death as a necessary step for the world to regenerate. Ancient ruins and harsh lands. This pillar plays an important role in the natural fantasy style. Its protagonists often find themselves traversing vast uninhabited regions where ground and roots merge with millennia-old ruins of the past. A world in peril. Okay. Humanity is defined by its relationship to the creatures of wilderness. Okay. Clashing communities. Much smaller scale. Tensions between neighboring villages or clans. Fights between humans and animals or spirits. Yep. In its darkest forms, such conflicts erupt into violence, expropriation, or even genocide. Yep. Hello. Welcome. Hi, Lumi. Everything has a soul. Yep, we talked about that. Juxtaposition. Vast uninhibited regions of ruins past and nature reclaimed. Natural fantasy style relies on a careful balance between moments of calm, serenity, and beauty, alternating with moments of raw and direct contact with the inevitable facts of life. Neither of these aspects can be sacrificed. Keeping only the first means presenting a false and sanitized version of nature. Keeping only the second leads to self-indulging morbidity. Ooh, that's so true. I really like the way that they describe that. Killing other living creatures to protect your community or provide resources is a common theme of natural fantasy, should be handled with care. Death is a significant event that should be dignified. Yep, okay. It should never be cold or systematic, especially in a natural fantasy game where it should have ecological, emotional, or spiritual consequences. There is no obligation to kill an opponent reduced to 0 hit points. It is a choice. Never demonize. If necessity demands it, proper respect is shown for the consequences. Killing another creature to save lives, protect the ecosystem, or transform their body into nourishment, tools, or instruments is an integral part of the cycle of life, not a violation. Every life matters. Okay, coexistence doesn't mean self-erasure. In some stories, ecological themes are handled quite superficially. Humanity is depicted as a parasite, technology as a source of corruption, and ancient lifestyles become romanticized and stereotyped, often without a solid historical or anthropological base. Although they provide a fertile ground for villains, such simplistic perspectives represent a form of cowardly nihilism. What natural fantasy proposes is, instead, to make a humble and brave choice. Our heroes must stop seeing themselves as masters or tormentors of nature, And remember, they are merely one of its many expressions, embracing the responsibilities that arise from their ability to invent, create, and transform. In short, we can coexist with the planet we live in precisely because we are humans, rather than in spite of it. Wow. That's deep. Cowardly nihilism. Heroes must stop seeing themselves as masters or tormentors. They are merely one of its many expressions, embracing the responsibilities that arise. Oh, that's really cool. I really like the way that they phrase that. This is from their newer atlas that came out recently, and I just love that. I have to think on that for a second. That's beautiful. Because it's so true that sometimes media that seems like in this theme, they go too far in one extreme. And I like the nuance that they're presenting. Often influenced by existing cultures that consider these principles as the foundation of their civilization. Historically, those same cultures have been targeted by violent, repressive colonialist politics. If you want to take inspiration from these cultures when you create new stories, please strive not to repeat that harmful rhetoric. Look for detailed and not instrumentalized sources which present information with integrity and respect. If your setting includes tribal cultures, do not consign them to the role of enigmatic stranger. Yeah, don't be. So basically, this page is saying don't be racist. Yeah, I get that. That's good. Yeah, this section is basically just don't be racist, which I agree with that, because it's just very reductive if you take like a tribal character and just make them like exactly what it says. Do not consign them to the role of enigmatic strangers, keepers of riches, or whatever. Make them full-fledged protagonists. Or avoid recurring stereotypes like the mystic, the raider, of the scout. Yeah, that's very... That's good. I'm glad that they put this here. Okay. Natural fantasy locations. Yeah, okay. Can kind of skip through some of this stuff. During world creation. Okay, which we need to do that first, I think. Okay, so let's go back to the core rulebook and look at the world creation. They said that's on page 138. Create the game world. That's on page 148. Let's do it. You'll need the world sheet and the map sheet. Okay, we're finally going to do something on the screen. I have the world sheet. Okay, your first step is the shared creation of the game world, which I guess we can create it together. You're all here. This is where that obsidian plugin you sent me kind of scared me a little bit. I opened the doc and looked at it and was just like, ooh, that's a lot. Okay, if you want, give your setting a name. Even something as simple as Earth, Gaia, or the planet. It will work fine. Let's see. I want to name it something. I want something kind of like Gaia, but not quite so. Ooh, Myst. I'm going to call it Myst. The world of Myst. I think Myst is nice and simple. Okay, so the world of Myst. Ooh, Myst with a Y. There. Makes all the difference. There's core elements. Okay, yeah, I have all that. So everything has a soul. Conflicts and struggles. When creating your setting, you shouldn't concern yourself with realism, verisimilitude, or historical accuracy. Yeah, okay. A city-state inspired by ancient Greece might be bordering with a flying fortress, guarded by warriors clad in Song Dynasty-style armor, and practicing a form of alchemy similar to that of the Italian Renaissance. Cool. Choose a shape for your world. Is it round, flat, or are the regions floating amidst the clouds? Could it be donut-shaped? So far, floating. Okay, so I think floating island regions is good. Okay. So we have some... So the world is just... I guess that's not so much the planet, the world shape. It says... That's what it says in the book. It says, regions floating amidst the clouds. Okay. Makes sense, because it's called Myst. So Myst is made up of floating regions, each surrounded by a swirl of clouds. It can be like an asteroid field, but the outside space is breathable. You get your independent... Yes! Yeah, that's exactly what I have in mind. It's just that each of the regions is kind of, it's surrounded by clouds, hence the name Myst. So you can tell something is there, but unless you've been there or you know of it, you might not necessarily, you can't necessarily see through the mists. Yeah, that's kind of how I have it in my mind, is that it's kind of like an asteroid field. Yeah, airships, exactly. Okay, now I'm imagining giant flying birds which serve as mounts for people to cross. Yeah, oh my gosh. You're cooking. You're cooking. I love it. See, this is why I decided to do this on stream, because for a while I was kind of puzzling through this on my own, but it's so much more fun when everyone can contribute. Yeah, I love that. Okay, what's next in our flowchart? Grab a map sheet that fits your concept. Oh, I see. They have different ones here. None of these really match very well. So actually, I think I will delete these other 2 pages because I think it might be fun to make our own. Maybe the floating regions are terraced and we're in the lowest region and we're ascending. I kind of like the idea of us being in the middle region though, so we can go up or down. Okay, but I can edit this, delete these 2 pages, and I think I'll just make my own custom sheet. Do they have a blank map sheet that I can use? That could also make sense if the oppressive empire TM is coming from either the lower... Yeah, right? I like the idea of being in the middle. That way we're kind of stuck, in a way. They don't really have a blank world sheet, per se. Okay. Ooh, actually, now that I think about it, Fabula Ultima has a playlist. They have music that I could be playing. Okay. Map sheet. Remember to establish the length of a travel day on the map. See page 106. Here is the problem with this, and this is where I think maybe using the Abyss one will be good because there's depth. No, it's okay. We're just gonna draw it. But how, if I'm looking at the world from the side and it's in like, it's like scaffolded as we talked about, you know, I don't think this is going to be very good. I have to have room for settlements and stuff, but you can't see the... This is weird. I don't know. That looks... I don't like that. I'm really just kind of winging it. I'm trying to make it a little more jaggedy so they look more continental. That doesn't look quite right. Space whales. Oops, no, I don't want to leave. Oh no. Dang it, I actually kind of liked that one. This one is the most complex looking. It does kind of... Aha! I'm just making this up. I just... These all kind of look strangely creaturey. I have no explanation for giant slice. Listen, doing the best I can. This one looks kind of like Australia. Pretty sure you're supposed to make it up anyways. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but so this is not a perfect side view, but just imagine that this is what the world looks like vertically. Like, this is the top layer, and we're all just floating around in space. Can I move the... There. Aha! I just made this up. I fine for a bunch of landforms I just completely made up. It did not turn out too bad. Yeah, because I think that's fine. Oh, I just realized I have all of the small ones in a row, so maybe I'll do this. It looks a little bit. I think I generally like how this looks. Like I know I kind of winged it, but I like how it came out. I want to put one more thing down here. This last one be a bit more rounded. I can't. All of these look like screaming sharks one way or another. Actually, I'm gonna redo this one because this one in the upper right is like probably. I think this is the first one I did, and it's so uninspired. Can I get rid of it? Let's try again. No, it's. I'm trying to like shake my mouse as I'm doing this all with a mouse, by the way, to make it look less, more organic. This is really. Ooh. Dude, this looks so much better than what I had before. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. That looks cool. Let's turn it a little bit. That came out pretty neat. This one is really round. I think I'm gonna fix this one too. Although I like the general shape of it, so, but it's a little bit too smooth. I already forgot what the general shape looked like. It was something like this, right? I just needed it to be a little less like. Okay, yeah, I like that better. Somehow I like this better. Yeah, okay. All kind of vaguely look fish-like. I'm not sure how this happened. Okay, but these are floating. These are all floating land masses. So I know it looks like it's a world, but it's not. It's not like these are not in the ocean or anything. These are all floating in the air. But it's breathable. Who was it that said it's like an asteroid belt, but it's breathable in between? That's kind of the idea. Okay, so then we need one travel day. Let's say it takes a while. So if you're going from here to here, I want this to be 3 days. It takes 3 days to go from here to here. So one travel day should be about this much. So that's one travel day. As I said, that's really important. No, it's too small. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's one travel day. is about that much. Those are my landforms. I feel pretty good about that. And then there's like clouds and stuff in between. I do like the idea of everyone having little airships and stuff though. Unify the world by building massive metal monstrosities that have to cut deep into the ground to keep the land together, literally tearing into the land, forcing it together in a way it's not naturally inclined to be. And then because they said in the world that everything has a soul, that could have these other repercussions that they just don't know about yet. Yeah, I like that. I think there's something to that for sure. Thank you. I like that. I'm going to steal that. I mean, I guess I'm not really stealing it because you like gave me the idea freely, but thank you. I think that's really cool. What is the role of magic and technology in your setting? Are you living in an age of industrial development, or is it more Renaissance-like? Is magic seen as a form of science or mostly as a great mystery? So magic and technology. How do I want that? Magic and technology in your setting. All right, so this is what I have here. The world is kept together by some ancient and powerful magic. Airships revolutionize travel and war. Steam engines are commonplace, and great golems join armies in battle. A new type of technology is emerging that uses coal power, the power of bones. It's more powerful than steam, but causes pollution. Okay, create the major kingdoms and nations of your world, mark their borders on the map, discuss their relations. Okay. So we should have the eponymous empire, right? There's gotta be one. The not so nice guys. There's names. I'm just gonna pick off of their list. Ooh, the Acheron Empire. I think the empire should be down here, the one with the flexing symbol. It's kind of funny. So this is the Acheron Empire down here. Major kingdoms and nations, so I don't need the necessary, like, the cities or anything within. It's just kind of the major places. I think we should be, since we're going natural fantasy, maybe ours is, like, this little place over here. Lacria, Galatea, Taurisia, Nara, Nephis, Arkel, Holm. Like Edessa. I think actually all three of these islands should be Edessa. So it's like the three islands together make Edessa. It's like a city-state, the islands of Edessa. The Edessa Islands, yeah. So I think these three together make Edessa. And this is the Empire down here. 3 independent islands that formed a council type thing. Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what I had in mind. The Merchant Coalition. I think it's just because they're very natural islands. Because it's supposed to be natural fantasy, so I think they just have 3 different, like, ecosystems. Okay, so this is the Empire. Maybe I'll do that. There we go. So the Empire is these 2 bigger land masses down here. One of the island on the right was originally part of the Empire, or a recent addition? That's a good question. That's something we can discover as we go, right? So this is a different city-state that's, or kingdom that's on its own. Let's call this one. I think this one can be Lacria. Now we have another one that ends in A. I don't necessarily want that. Lacria, Rimea, Reld, Hemble. Nephis sounds kind of nice. Okay. Ooh, Luxor. I like that. That sounds cool. Luxor. And then the last one. I'm getting a 2 kingdoms sharing the continent out and an uneasy alliance worried about the empire kind of feel. Yeah. The empire is pretty big, but I think there's going to be these other city-states as well. So the empire is actually not the majority. But I like that they're sort of digging their way up because they're all at the bottom. So maybe they have different ecosystems and issues that they have to deal with. Ooh, Oscara sounds cool. And this little island here should have its own name as well. Ooh, Ildefort. That sounds cool. Seems like a nice name for like this little island that's up here hanging out. Okay. It's a cotillion. That's neat. Starting Point Island, Ildefort. That's not where we're from. We're from Edessa. So we're gonna start here. Our main characters are from here. Okay. Now it's processing again. Please share that you use PDF 24 Creator. Guess what, guys? We're using PDF 4 Creator. 24 Creator, just in case you didn't know. Okay. So we did that. Spawn Town. Okay. So, okay, did that. Yes, yes. Major kingdoms and nations mark their borders to discuss their relations. Okay. So we can talk about them. Already forgot, so, yeah, Oops, no, what just happened? Okay. So we have Ildefort, or actually, let's Edessa. What the heck? Okay. Every time I open this tab, it opens PDF 24. It's very annoying. Okay. Actually, let me do this. My goodness. I didn't know. Thanks for the information. Yeah, PDF 24. Okay. Acheron. Thank you. How did you remember all those? Okay. Edessa. Nethys. I'm trying to put them in order. Luxor. Actually, I guess they're not really in order. Yeah, I guess we really should just go from the top down, I guess. I just typed it real quick while we were on the other page. Oh my gosh, big brain move right there. Okay. Edessa shouldn't be a kingdom. It's like a, I don't know, principality? How do you call it? It's the archipelago. Because we can still call ourselves an archipelago even though we're not really islands. Sounds cool. Ooh, the Free Coalition. Or is it like the states of Edessa? I don't know. Free Coalition. Doesn't sound like a... Well, it needs to be a country. Like, okay. Country that is made up of other countries. The nations, multi-nations. Edit des Essa, that's funny. I was thinking it would just be central Edessa, eastern Edessa, and western Edessa. Apparently, like the Netherlands, for example, is 4 countries altogether, so we could still call it the Kingdom of Edessa. So it's still a kingdom, but I don't want them to be ruled by a king. It should be some sort of like oligarchy. I guess it's, or the city-states of Edessa. That doesn't sound quite right either. Combined islands. States of Edessa. Combined islands of Edessa. Ooh. Like that. Or is it... What is a principality? Yeah, the prince... Let's call it the principalities. The principalities of Edessa. So instead of having one monarch, there's like... Each island has a prince. And the 3 princes rule together. Prince or princess. So the principalities of Edessa. You put that all together. Okay, I like that. Does the principalities of Edessa sound better than the Edessan principalities? Yeah, I don't like that. Cool. Nethys. I have this other thing here. I like Protectorate. Okay. I think Nethys can be cozy, comfy commune of Nethys. That's too big to be a cozy, comfy. Ah. I think Nethys can just be a kingdom. The Holy Empire. That's too much. Yeah, the kingdom. It's just another kingdom. I guess I should have just put Acheron instead of Acheron Empire, because now all the other ones don't have labels, but Acheron does, but it's too late. I guess I could fix it. Hang on. Let me fix it really quick. It bugs me. Oh, dang it, I've already saved it. I can't fix it anymore. Alright, it's fine. It's too late. Like in the middle of a civil war and dozens of warring states, the divided states of Nethys. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Nethys, they're just like, whatever. Okay. Let's see here. Mark their borders, discuss their relations. Okay. That or it's a completely uninhabited shard of dangerous creatures. That's kind of what I have in mind, is I think that Nethys should be kind of more no man's land. So maybe not the kingdom. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's kind of have it. Largely the resource heavy island with mines and farms making up most of its area. East Edessa, Western Edessa. Is it West Central East or Western Central and Eastern? Maybe sounds better. Okay, that's Edessa, which is where we're gonna be for a big chunk. Ildefort. Okay. Holy, I looked away for a second. There's lots of text. Yeah, I'm world building. Okay. For hundreds of years of cultivating them. Say Magitech. Oop, sorry, cat. She suddenly put yourself below my foot. That seems very silly. Hold on. Okay. Kingdom of Luxor. It's over here. Let's see. Oscarians, Luxorians, Oscarans. Yeah. That's not how you spell that word there. Okay. Kingdom of Luxor is a more militaristic nation, but after losing a war with Oscara a few hundred years ago, they have refrained from starting more wars. This is more likely due to lack of resources, not so much lack of will. There are sometimes Luxorian pirates that raid Edessa, but Edessa's strong alliance with Oscara means that the Oscarans are quick to come to the aid of those beleaguered by raiders. Okay. Kingdom of Oscar is the oldest of the known Myst kingdoms. Their current dynastic line can be traced back 2,000 years or so. I wonder if the Empire sells weapons to Edessa to aid in fending off pirate attacks. Yeah, I think they could. Oscara trades freely with Edessa as they have less resources after hundreds of years, after so many years of cultivating them. And have a long-standing alliance. It is rumored that Oscar was the first to develop coal-based magitech, but they did not use it for long. The Isle of Ildefort is inhabited mostly by magic researchers who like to keep to themselves. Ildefort is largely closed off to outsiders, and special permits are required to dock your airship there. There are many rumors as to what they are up to up there, but rarely does any truth. There are many rumors as to what they are up to up there, but rarely is there any truth to them. The Kingdom of Luxor is a more militaristic nation, but after losing a war with Oscara a few hundred years ago, they have refrained from starting more wars. This is more likely due to lack of resources, not so much lack of will. There are sometimes Luxorian pirates that raid Edessa, but Edessa's strong alliance with Oscara means that the Oscarans are quick to come to the aid of those beleaguered by raiders. Luxor is bountiful in natural resources and people, so they rarely trade legally with the other nations. Uh, okay. Oh, stretch, yes, okay. Luxor is bountiful in natural resources and people, so they rarely trade legally with the other nations, but their climate is more like that of Western Edessa, so they have the occasional famine. They get everything, you get nothing, yeah. I'm trying to, I don't like the way this is worded. Mm-hmm. Okay. Odessa, Luxor has a high population, but their climate is more like that of Western Edessa. Thus, oops. Such as ores and gems, they often run the risk of famine when weather prevents their crops from growing properly. Okay, so that's their issue with Luxor, is they've got a lot of cool stuff, but they don't do so well with like food because sometimes just the weather really sucks, and so that's why they tend to raid the other countries, or at least like central and western or central and eastern of Edessa, but it doesn't always work out. But it depends on where they go, because if they try to raid central Edessa, it's easier because Oskara is all the way up here. So Oskara can rush to the aid of eastern Edessa, but central, they're blocked off a little bit. So, okay, the principalities of Edessa are a single nation made up of 3 islands. 3 island principalities, each ruled by a prince or princess. The islands are referred to as Western Edessa, Central Edessa, and Eastern Edessa to distinguish them from each other. The principality is the Edessa as a whole is run as an oligarchy, with each of the princesses having a say. Western Edessa is largely the rocky island, with mines and deserts making up most of its landmass. Central Edessa, though the smallest, has the most temperate weather for farming. Eastern Edessa has many bodies of water, making it ideal for fishing and raising water plants. And they're pretty close together, so it only takes 1 or 2 days to go from like place to place within Edessa, or within this circle of Edessa, I guess. Okay. Nethys, the largely uninhabited Isle of Nethys. I like the way you described it earlier. So the largely uninhabited Isle of Nephis is made up of multiple different biomes from the snowy northern tundras to the southern beaches, to the warm southern beaches. The weather changes almost hourly from one extreme to another. The weather in each biome changes almost hourly from one extreme to another, making long-term settlement challenging. Nephis is also full of dangerous monsters and spirits, presenting a challenge to all but the most seasoned adventurers. Its strange nature does make it a preferred hiding spot for runaway criminals and researchers traveling from Ildeford, however. The Acheron Empire is the lowest point of Myst, made up of two large land masses that are chained together. That are leashed together by a thick magical chain. This keeps the two land masses from drifting too far away from each other, unlike the other land masses that make up Myst. Empire is covered in tall magic towers where enclaves of mages conduct strange, unique magitech experimentation and research. Okay, yeah, ooh. Right? Yeah. Okay, so the Acheron Empire is the lowest point of Myst, made up of two large landmasses that are leashed together by a thick magical chain that forms somewhat of a bridge between them. This keeps the two landmasses from drifting too far apart from each other, unlike the other landmasses that make up Myst. The Empire is covered in tall magic towers where enclaves of mages conduct unique magitech experimentation and research. A cloud of smog seems to hang over both landmasses, but particularly the western one. Despite not having a formal alliance, Acheron has historically been very friendly with Edessa, and more than a few Edessans have left the principalities to go study and work in Acheron. Acheron, largely a merchant base, despite... Okay. Despite not having a formal alliance, Acheron has historically been very friendly with Edessa, and more than a few Edessans have left the principalities to go study and or work in Acheron. Despite its reputation for experiments and nifty inventions, Acheron is largely a merchant-based country. Most of their money is made from selling their various life-improving inventions to the other country's citizens. Bet the chain is some sort of special metal they found. Yeah, I think that could be a good idea. But yeah, so the idea right now is that, like, I really took to heart what they said about, you know, avoiding really obvious stereotypes. I don't want, like, ooh, empire, evil, like, I don't want that to be the thing. So right now, everyone, at least in this part, we might do the time skip later. Right now, all of the countries are pretty, you know, pretty friendly with each other. The only one that I think is a bit of a problem is Luxor, because they're more militaristic, but they haven't really been doing anything recently. They're fine. So that's basically the breakdown. We've got Edessa, which is where our story is going to start. We have Nethys, which is like the uninhabited no man's land with lots of monsters and stuff. The Acheron Empire is more like scientific and merchant based. They make inventions. That's their big thing. So it's very industrial, I guess. Oscara is like the old kind of ancient empire that is very artistic, and they're sort of starting to run out of natural resources, so they trade pretty heavily with Edessa. Then you have Luxor, which is the militaristic nation. They've got a lot of mines and cool things, but they struggle to farm, especially when the weather is bad. Then last but not least, we have Ildefort, which is the tiny little country in the corner, and they're like, it's just a mage research place they keep to themselves. It's hard to get in. It's just highly classified. So nobody really even knows how their government is. They just know that's where mages go to study, and you kind of have to be invited to go there. You can't just show up. So who knows? It's like a strange place. Luxor is more piratey, raidery. Yes, but even then, they don't do it all the time. Just sometimes because like I said, the weather and their makes it difficult to farm at times. So they may raid when they have to, but it's not something they do all the time. They're not evil. They just, you know, they're trying to make do with what they've got, and what they've got is not much. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the world so far as we know it. Let me see, open this up. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty fun collection of places. Yeah, supplemental income. Yeah, exactly. Pretty fun collection of places. I'm trying not to make it too tropey, but I think that's a cool mix of places. And right now they're all in relative harmony, and we don't know, that might change in the future, right? But for now, I think that's pretty good world building wise. Okay. Discuss the major historical events that shaped your world into what it is. Yeah, I feel like we kind of did that already. Okay, let me open that up. So we kind of talked about one of them already. It's like the war. We should probably come up with a name. Historical events that shaped, okay. The war between Luxor and Oscara. Other important historical events. They have some. They have a table of them. Technological advancement. So let's see. So like Acheron. Major technological advances. Let's see. Okay. I feel pretty good about that. Okay. So I added these historical events, which we kind of already talked about, but I just laid them all out. So the war between Luxor and Oscara, which ended in Luxor's defeat. There's been major technological advancements, so Acheron chaining its landmasses together, Oscara's coal-based magitech. Airships have become integral in society. Almost everyone owns at least a personal airship. Increased volatility of weather and monster activity on Nethys, and Oscara slowly losing their natural resources. So that's pretty much where we're at. Enigmas and mysteries. Yep. Questions left unanswered. Okay. Yep. So, for example, what is going on with Ildeford? What are they doing there? What is the Acheron chain made out of? Why is there so much smog around Acheron now? What will Oscara do when they run out of resources? Are there other land masses beyond Oscara or Acheron? And that's a mystery. We don't know. Let's see what else. Our traveler. Okay. Okay. All right, so I've edited that. Okay, so current enigmas and mysteries. What is going on with Ildeford? What are they doing there? What is the Acheron chain made out of, and why is there so much smog around Acheron now? What will Oscara do when they finally run out of resources? Are there other landmasses beyond Oscara or Acheron? There are travelers that claim to be from beyond. And then threats. I guess kind of looming threats. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Sarah. Yep. Oh, Odessa. Okay. Smog. I'm trying to list out all the threats that we've kind of talked about. I think that's pretty good. So we have monsters of Nethys growing, possibly growing more sentient. Luxor has been quiet for many years, but they could try war again. The Luxorian pirates attacking Odessa, and then the smog around Acheron. So I think those are all threats that are kind of looming on the horizon, as always, right? Known countries, kingdoms, and nations. Oh, I just wrote all of that on the other sheet. I guess it's fine. I'll just leave that blank since I already have it all written out elsewhere. Okay, so that's basically the world. Oh my gosh, I really thought we could get to characters, but we did world building this whole time. Okay. Pain, I know. But I really like this world that we created together. This is so much fun. I love this. idea of like the asteroid belt and just being able to kind of fly between them with these little airships, you know? I know. And well, I did get interrupted a couple of times too. But yeah, I really love the world building that we've done so far. Just these floating islands in the sky surrounded by mists. But the mists around Acheron have been looking kind of smoggy, you know. I do know that I want our main characters to be from Edessa. I think that would be a cool way, because we're in the middle. It's like the most humble, I think, of the places. So I think that's a cool place to start. But I really like this world, and who knows, if this goes well, I could do other campaigns that take place in the same world. You know, that's part of what I wanted to do with Fabula Ultima, is to create a world that I can keep coming back to. You know, and so that's something that I really want to do long term, is create characters and stories. I think it'd be really fun. I'm going to start thinking about the main characters and drafting them out, but I do want to have a stream where we create them together. So I might have to end up doing another planning stream before we start playing, because dang, I really gave myself too much credit thinking like, yeah, we can do some world building and characters and start playing in 3 hours. Sure, we world built for 3 hours, but I love this world that we built. I really appreciate you all contributing your ideas and some inspiration, because I love how this turned out. So much fun. Me wanting to play Microscope to go make a system with Cypher or something just for fun. It is fun. World building and character creation is some of the most fun parts, I think. Okay, so next time when we pick this up again, and it might, who knows, I might even do it later this week, because we've finished the world creation. We went through the entire flowchart. So now we're creating the group, which I think I already have an idea of what we're doing there, especially because it's natural fantasy. But I'm excited to meet our characters and see what happens. I do like the idea we talked about of like them starting off a bit younger and then us time skipping, but you know, who knows? It always falls through after I do broad strokes. I see. Yeah, that could be tough too. But yeah, I really like what we have so far. We could play it. I think that there's enough possible conflicts even with what we have so far that we don't need it to be really dramatic yet, so we don't have to time skip, but we'll see. Like, I like the idea of creating this wide world and coming back to it over and over. How do I make a TTRPG which is nothing but world building and character creation? There's quite a few. I feel like Ballads is a little bit like that. I think there's a lot of the character creation, but I'm getting into the rest of it. But yeah, okay, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Let me switch to this. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Like I said, I wasn't expecting this to take quite so long, but you know what? That's okay. It happens. So it goes, right? I really enjoyed the work that we did. Ugh, I just realized this covers up part of the, it's fine, I guess. I really enjoy the work that we did and putting these characters, this world together. I'm really excited to meet the characters. I already have some ideas, but I like the idea of having that like red-haired mage girl from the cover as one of the characters, because she is so pretty. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to make 3 or 4 characters for sure, that can make a make a group, a team together. Yeah, we can actually do the raid thing this time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me see who I can raid, and we'll go from there. Is there anyone I'm following that's going? Ooh, looks like Mary is still streaming. It is her birthday, so let's do that. Let me do this properly. How do I do this? Is it like this? Do I have to put the @ Is it like this? Okay. Oh, that's cute. Wait, that's actually so cute. Yes. Let's do that. That message is so cute. Yeah, so you can copy paste that message. please make sure you wish her a happy birthday. I was in her stream earlier today, but make sure you wish her a very happy birthday. Oh my gosh, there's 9 of you in here. What? There's 9 of you in here? When did that happen? Hello. Goodness gracious. Okay. And you can copy paste that, but yeah, it turned out so cute. Cute message. Okay, look, me properly doing the rating thing. Okie dokie. All right. Well, that's going to be it. Well, it went to like battle music. That's funny. That's going to be it for tonight. Thank you so much for coming to watch me.